quickly scanning tens or even hundreds of thousands of URLs to test them to see if they're dead or alive. That's what we're going to talk about today. Of course, we're talking about the program called Scrapebox. So if you don't have Scrapebox, you can get it from this website right here, scrapebox.com. Just roll down to the bottom and you can grab it before the deal ends. And once you have Scrapebox, the next thing you want to do is go to scrapeboxtips.com and pop in your information. I'm going to give you free tips, full tutorials, guides, checklists. I'm even going to show you how to make money with Scrapebox, all for free. So let's jump into this and see what we're doing here. The Alive Checker add-on in Scrapebox is what we're talking about. The way that you get there is go to add-ons, show available add-ons, and you find the Alive Checker. You can install it or update it if necessary, and then you're done. To launch it, go to add-ons and then Alive Checker. Now, the Alive Checker is fairly straightforward in what it does. It's going to open up a website and it's going to check to see if it's alive. Now, what that means initially and what you can do with that are two different things. So first, I'm going to show you functionally what most people use it for, and then we're going to talk about some ideas on how you can make money with that and how you might actually use that, as well as using it in reverse. So stick with me here for just a couple minutes and I'll explain all that. So what is a live check? If I pop in some URLs, which I can get from the harvester here, which is just pulling these URLs that I loaded in here. You could also load them directly from a file. And if I hit start, it's going to check to see if stuff is alive or dead. But what does that really mean? Initially, it comes set up to scan for a 200 response. If you know what that is, great. If not, I'm not going to go in depth. You can Google it. But basically, when a website is working, it returns what's called a 200. So this happens in the background with your web browser. Scrapebox is doing it in the background as well. But you need to understand at least what response codes are. And again, you can Google that. If you just go here, you can do what is a 200 response code, right? And it's going to give you some information. 200 means okay, status code, the request was successful. So when you try to load a website, like when I went to Google, Google first told my browser 200 okay, and then it loaded the website, more or less, in so many words, right? Also in here, I have my threads, which is my connections. So currently it's set to run or load 20 websites at once. You know, if you have a powerful machine with powerful DNS, then you can go much faster than that. If you are struggling on DNS, maybe on a home connection, because DNS is an issue sometimes, or maybe you're, on a, wireless connection, like connected to a cell phone or something like that, you may have to lower the threads there. And then follow redirections is a good thing to leave. And we're not going to really deal with the custom user agent. If you know what user agents are and you're having issues and you want to use a custom user agent, you can do that. If you don't know that, I would recommend that you just leave that box alone because it's not necessary, and you can definitely mess stuff up by putting stuff in there, but leaving it empty isn't going to hurt anything. So I'm going to click OK here. And we're just going to run this. Now we can see it goes pretty fast, and you'll notice it does a head first. So if you know what a head request is, that's just where it's asking for number codes. And then if it can't find a head response, it'll do a get response. Again, if you know what that is, that's great. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. You can Google it, but basically you can just use this and it's going to work or it's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it because we don't need to let that run through there, but it's pretty fast. In that few seconds while I was talking, we managed to complete 401 websites, and it was seconds. So you can definitely scan hundreds of thousands of URLs here. I would probably keep it to like 500 to 1,000 to 1,000,000 URLs. Windows doesn't tend to like it when you get to files above that, or file sizes above that. Functionally, it can handle 100 million URLs if you're using the 64-bit version on Windows, or on Mac, it should work fine as well because it's 64-bit. However, again, both Windows and Mac prefer smaller file sizes. So you can on Windows run unlimited instances, so don't forget that. So you could run like 10 instances at once and put like 1,000,000 URLs in each one and hit go and, go to lunch or whatever and come back and have significant progress, right? And so we can use proxies if we want to. We can, place a check mark there or not. If we place a check mark there, it's going to pick up the proxies from your main Scrapebox window. So bear that in mind. And then when we're done, we have export. So we can save all of our alive records, which are the ones that have the yes, the not alive records, which is anything that has a no. And then we can save all of the, we can save those to file, or we can send them back to the harvester, which is like this, right? Again, for both of those options. So, and then we also have the option to save all the URLs with the status and response code as an Excel file. So it's going to save like this URL. It's going to kind of like save this grid. So it's going to save the URL with the response code in Excel. So that's it. You load your URLs, you set up your connection settings, and if you want to use proxies or not, and you hit go. Definitely don't use public proxies for this. You would want to either use private proxies or no proxies. If you are scanning a lot of domains, you can see I have a lot of different unique domains in here. I wouldn't use proxies. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it. If you have a lot of URLs from only a few domains, and you want to go really fast, then you probably need some private proxies so that it spreads out those connections on different IP addresses. If you know why you want to use a list and check to see if they're alive, then you're done. You can stop watching this video and you're good to go. If you'd like to know how to make money with this, or use it in reverse, or some reasons why you want to do this, then stick with me for a couple more minutes here. I'm going to break that down. So you can use this as response codes, right? So a 200 right now is a yes, and anything that's not a 200 is a no. So going back to response codes, let's say I have a list of URLs, and I specifically want to know which URLs are 404. 404 is an error page, but it's a specific code. So let's say I want to know specifically which ones are 404. I can change this to 404. Now, anything that is a 404, stay with me, anything that's a 404 is going to show up as a yes. So whatever response code you put in here, show up as yeses if it matches in. And you can use more than one. So I could put a 404, a 302, 301, and a 302, right? I don't know if I want to do that, but let's say I did. So if any of these response codes match, it'll be a yes. Anything that doesn't match these will be a no. So at that point, it's no longer about alive and dead. It's just about yes or no. So I can do that, and I can run these, and we can see if any of these happen to be either a 404, a 301, or a 302. Now, it's not likely that we're going to have 404 URLs here because I just picked up this list from Google directly. I was scraping Google, I just put in some keywords and hit start harvesting. I have another video on the channel about how to do that, and you can scrape millions of URLs from Google. Google's index probably has a lot of URLs that are valid, so I might find some ones that are 301 or 302, but again, Google may have already resolved all those URLs, and there may just not be any, but you get the point here. So we can see that none of these URLs match 404, 301, or 302. So let's go through here. Oh, this one does. It matches one of them. All right, so looks like we have, here, let's burn through here. And so we get the point. So we saw how that works. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop it again. One thing I didn't mention is this error retries before it's marked as failed. Right now it'll try it, and if for some reason it doesn't load, it'll try it again. For most reasons, that's fine. If you happen to be working with a particularly slow web server and you're doing a bunch of URLs on a single web server, you might want to crank this up. Or if you're using proxies, you might even want to put that to 2 because proxies could add another layer of potential possibility there. But jumping back over here, now we understand the response codes and your thread connections here. You can go, just one note is you can go really high on this. Really, I wouldn't go over like 200 here. In fact, I don't even know if it has some of these programs, some of them have limits. This one doesn't seem to have a limit above 200. You could probably even put 2,000. No, it won't let you do 2,000. It's giving me an error. So what can I do here? I can do 999. Let's see if it changes it. It does. 200 is the max. I definitely wouldn't really go over 200. Again, just fire up some more instances if you're on Windows. But if you are on, I actually had to change this. So at my house, which is cable in the USA, statistically has the big cable providers. Most of them have horrible DNS. The phone company providers have pretty good DNS. The cable company providers, I had this on 20 threads and it locked up my whole machine because of the DNS, because it wouldn't resolve. So I need to set it at like 2, but I just went and changed it to Google Public DNS and you're good to go. Again, if you know what that is, you can change your machine with Google Public DNS. Otherwise, just jump in the comments or something like that. Let me know if you want a resource on that and I can help you with that, but I don't want to get into this. So how can we use this to make some money? Well, obviously, we could check to see if things are alive. So let's say that I have previously scraped a list of, let me get this open here. let's say I previously had scraped a list of businesses in my area. So let's say I market to plumbers and roofers, right? And, I can market to any of them across the US. Maybe I'm selling them SEO. Maybe I'm selling them some custom software for their marketing, or I don't know, whatever, right? If I have a list, I could run this to see which of their websites are still valid. So I know, okay, these businesses, the website's not valid. They've probably gone out of business, right? So I've scraped up a list from Yellow Pages plugin, and now I've taken all the URLs, which would show up. If we go to yellowpages.com, the URLs will show up here under website, right? So here I could just hit start. Let's just run this for half a second. Anyways, I don't even know if there are any. And so quick note, it wasn't working, and I realized that the Yellow Pages scraper was out of date, so I'm going to do that. So that's your note. If something happens and the live checker isn't working, go ahead and go back to add-ons and make sure that you're using the latest version in green, because if stuff breaks, then they fix it, right? So let's try this again. Right, so here we go. And so I have maybe a list of websites. I can grab all these websites. I can throw them in and check to see if they are live. If I have a list of websites here and I wanted to see what's not working, so I have Yellow Pages, I have the phone numbers here, and I have the email addresses, right, when they're available. So I could come through here and I could run their websites to see if their websites are offline. If their website's dead, I'm going to load it up in a browser to make sure, but maybe they're having some problems with their website. And maybe my thing that I sell is that I fix website problems, right? Maybe it's something simple, and it's like a WordPress plugin that's taken their website offline, and they don't even know it, because like what business goes to their website and just checks on it all the time? Some of them, but like a lot of times there are certain businesses that they just really don't. And roofers and plumbers would be that, a lot of times people, unless a customer has told them, then they're probably not checking on that a lot. You'd be surprised. But if I sell website fixing services, I could scan the websites like every day or every couple days, and then, just double check on the browser. And if it actually doesn't work, then go ahead, because there could be, they've done some funky redirects or something. So then call them up. Hey, your website's broken. Did you want me to fix it? Oh, it's not working. Oh, yeah. Right. So you can sell services, right? So you could use that to make money. So what else can you do with it to make money? Well, first of all, I'd like to invite you to leave me a comment right now and tell me if you think of a way or know of a way that you could use this to make money. I'd love to hear your ideas. I'm happy to even feature those in future videos. So if you know of a way to make money with your live checker, let me know. If you have, I've had people that have had companies that have data sets they need updated, or they had their own data sets that they needed updated internally, or they did this as a service. So you could update people's data sets, and if they need to know if a website is online or offline as a general rule, then you could run this. And that might be something where they're having you check like every day because they manage a bunch of websites and they want to make sure they're always up. They probably would use a service for that, but if it was a situation where it was like a data set rather than, like a database of stuff, then it's going to be easier for you to do this in bulk than for them to set up, 4,000 websites in some monitoring service like Pingdom. Not to mention it's going to be way cheaper because Pingdom's going to charge them an arm and a leg. So there are lots of ways that you could use this to make money. It's fairly simple, but basically a live check can be used in reverse with different codes, but it's going to tell you if the website matches the status code of whatever it is that you put in here. And if you want to know if it's alive, then you put a 200 in here, and anything else is dead. Some websites too, you might also want to put like 301 or 302 in here, because those are a redirect, and they might want there, but by default, we're just going to leave this at 200. So that is how you could make some money with the Alive Checker. That's how you can use the Alive Checker forward and reverse to scan tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of URLs at once very quickly and find out if they are alive or dead, or if they match the status code that you want. Thanks for watching this Scrapebox video. For more Scrapebox videos, click the subscribe button down below and then click the bell. And then check out these other great Scrapebox videos.